Welcome back, pets. Today we're looking at .hack Infection. It is the first of 4 games in this series. So we'll look at this one and then we'll move on through the rest of the games in the story. Which then had a spin-off of the GU series, which is currently available. This is not available currently, so we're looking at an old PlayStation disc for this one. The first chapter, so what we're looking at here, will cover a little bit of background as to the world and the people. But there are some really nice gameplay mechanics that I love about this game, and I wish they'd do it in modern games. They haven't, they probably won't, but it would be nice to see this type of game revisited. I'll explain this as the mechanics come up. Right now we're just looking at the opening, which I really like the opening, but it's a very odd way of visualizing the game. Okay, so to the new game screen. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to a new game, and we're going to look at the first few minutes of the story, and then I'm not going to go through and show all the grinding that's involved in this game, because there's quite a bit of grinding, but we'll go through the story and see what's going on.
Der Mann des Schattens, auf der Suche nach dem Abendrachen, ist noch nicht zurückgekommen. Der Herd der Finsternis grollt. Helba, Königin der Finsternis, stellt schließlich ein Heer auf. Alparon, König des Lichts, grüßt sie, und sie treffen sich am Fuße des Regenbogens. Die verfluchte Welle muss gemeinsam bekämpft werden. Der See von Alba brodelt. Der große Baum des Lichts fällt. Alle Macht zerfällt zu Tropfen im Tempel von Arche Köln. Wesen ohne Schatten, ihre Welt zerfällt zu nichts. Der Mann des Schattens auf der Suche nach dem Abenddrachen kehrt niemals mehr zurück.
So that was a rough intro to the background of the story.
Okay, user registration is done. Now for a name. Yasuhiko's probably already there waiting for me. I'd better hurry.
Our character is a two-part character. One, we have a character in the real world. That's who's talking right now. The second is the character in the world, or in the game. So we pick a character name, and we're going to go with... what do we want to go with here? Let's see. The character's name is Kite. I'll leave that there. We'll go with... what do I want to use for a name? We'll go this way. We'll go with Dragon. And then we're going to do with the default character name of Kite. And finish that. Yep, approved. We can now start the world from the desktop. Please enjoy the world. Now, this game is a little weird in the way it plays, because you have basically 3 areas of gameplay. First area of gameplay is our desktop. This is our ultimate system, and this allows us to do a few things. First is the world, that's the game. Second is our email. And these emails have different information on them that we can read through. I'll just kind of click down through the emails as we're talking. But this one just introduces you to the game and thanks you for signing up, tells you the changes in the current build of the game. And this one here is trying to thank you for registering with the game. It tells us about the Chaos Gates a little bit. It tells us about our 2 root towns. And of root towns. So we have root towns of Delta, Sigma, Delta. It's Delta, Theta, I think that's Lambda, and that's Sigma, and that's Omega. But you start on Delta. It's the lowest level server, it's the weakest server. It's where new players start. And you can bounce later on between servers. Yasuhiko is our friend, and he's just asking if we've gotten up and running. News, this is what's going on in the real world around the game. Like I said, I'll scroll down. If you want to read it, you can do so at your own accord. So the game's hit 20 million players. Anything interesting here? Not really. Here, Google FMD. I don't know if this is... No, this is the VR goggles that we're using. Error rates. Let's see, anything else? That's about the ultimate system. Okay. And on into the world. This is the world splash screen. It's important to check your email and the board, because later on in the game you'll get important information from the board, and in order to progress the game you'll have to come back to these 2 windows in order to progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the messages, and like I said, I'm going to leave them on the screen long enough for you to read them if you want. You can pause the video to read the stories, what's going on. I do recommend when you're playing the game the first time to read through these. The reason I say that is because this information is how the game tells you how to do things. It's all through the message boards. In a normal MMO, that's actually how things are done as well. Because if you want to know about the game and how it works, you go to the website. They'll give you a little tutorial about the game, the mechanics, and so on. You can then go to the message boards, and again, they'll tell you the mechanics. Like this section here, where it talks about wood versus earth, thunder versus darkness, fire versus water. These pair-offs are important to remember. And every game you have to go through that has elementals. But in this case, this is the only way you know about it. And you can they talk about different armor and armor stats. Play knowledge. They talk about enemies being difficult. This is check the boards, and sometimes they'll put random keywords up there. That'll show up later on. Going into parties is always a good idea. This talks about the dungeons a little bit. Because you gotta go to the Zet statue in order to close out the dungeon. And Chaos Gates, chronicling. See, chronicling is a word in blue. That means that when I log into the game and I go to actually go to a zone, I can now use chronicling in order to get there. And this is some of the fastest times for one of the events. But as I'll just go through these, let's look at them. You want to clean these out, especially the first time you play, because otherwise you can't see when new posts come up. And new posts are important because, like here, this one here is bursting. So if we don't have bursting, we now have bursting. And it tells us a difficulty 1. So you're setting up, that's good. Yeah, that's too strong because bursting is a level 1 area, but this talks about the jewels, so this is actually kind of important. Were there more than 2 jewels in the area levels in the parameter list? In this case, in cases like that, the word with the higher priority takes precedence. The one in red has the higher priority. So maybe the word, aside from bursting, was used instead of for the area level. Okay, so that's important. I can show you that when we actually get into the game. It worked. Okay, that's good. Grunties are a late game thing. They're a rideable mount. It looks kind of like a pig. Grunties are cool. Anything else interesting in here? Don't see anything in here. Golden axe. So yeah, if you find this spring that lets you throw equipment into it, you can throw golden axes in there. And it will give you other items. So, if we run into one of those, I'll show you, but I don't know if we're going to. Not in this first video. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Put those up backwards. So, this is about version 275. Like I said, I'm getting on the screen long enough for you to read it. You always want to read these, though. Because if you don't, you miss out on a lot of the gameplay mechanics. Like here they're talking about the elemental oppositions. Treasure boxes, breakable objects, risky treasure boxes. Alright, so that puts us correct. If you quit here, it'll go back to your ultimate desktop. Here's your ultimate desktop for mail. I'll go into the world, and then we're going to go to login. And we'll run into our friend Orca in Macedonia. He's going to teach us the ropes.
Hey, you made it. Hey, it's me, Orca, the Blade Master.
Whoa! You look so different from the real Yasuhiko. Nothing like the real you.
Hey, in this game I'm Orca, regardless of what I am in reality. I'm pretty well known here. What?
No, You look great.
Anyway, take this.
Member address.
Member address is the flash mail address you can only access in the world. With flash mail, you can exchange messages with others in real time, as long as you are in the world.
This is how we basically used to do it in the old game. For messaging people, you used to have them register as a friend in order to be able to message them in a private message or a direct message, or send them emails or whatever. Now it's pretty ubiquitous. We have all these things. Very common.
It's mostly used by newbies to contact other players to form a party.
But back in the day, we didn't have all these
Try it
features.
out by inviting me to join your party.
Every game was different.
First, press the triangle button to open the menu.
And he explains how to do the party.
In the menu, select
And
Next,
I'm going to skip through this
names
because
of
it's kind of
players who gave you
repetitive.
Since you just
It's very direct. It's very simple.
got it. Join my party. It's kind of weird mailing each other when we're face to face.
But they do explain through
See?
all of this. So.
But and you can't contact people when they're not logged into the world.
That statement right there is really important because this game is a virtual MMO. So there are people who will be online or offline at different points throughout the gameplay. So you can't always use everybody as your favorite character all the time.
People do have a life, you know. We're not online 24/7. In other words, you can't always count on the same members to form a party. So, try to get as many member addresses as you can. You'll have more fun that way. Well, how you play is up to you. But since EXP and stuff isn't divided among party members, you really don't benefit if you go solo.
That is true for most of the gameplay. There are a couple of things that I'll discuss later, but that you might want to go solo for.
Okay. Well, why don't we head off? There's nothing to worry about. I found a perfect place for newbies. This is the Chaos Gate. Sort of transfer device that takes us from one place to another.
Town portals for most of you.
Now, press the X button.
Okay.
In the
I'm gonna
world,
do-
each play zone is called an area. Select new keyword.
I started mentioning we were on the forums about keywords. It's important.
This is the keyword screen. At the top is the entry plate.
Now keep in mind, on the top is entry plate, right, left is the keyword screen, and the right side is the status screen. And the red gems are the highest priority items. So we start with bursting.
You put the 3 selected keywords one by one for each part, A, B, and C. Left of the entry plate is all the keywords you have. You can collect more of them by reading your emails, the board, and from other players.
That's why I said maybe you have to make sure you go back out to read the message boards so you can pick up some of the keywords.
Now, let's enter some keywords by starting with part A.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start with this quickly.
Good. For the last one in part C, select Aquafield. Now you're done specifying the area.
So if you notice here, the field type is determined by aqua field. So it's going to be an aquatic zone. It's going to be a wood zone. The dungeon type is by bursting, because that's the red one. Weather is going to be controlled by the field. Ground level, there's nothing. Structures is controlled. Structures at area level are controlled by part A, which is bursting. We know that's a low level one. And then monsters are being controlled by part B, and items are being controlled by B. Portals and roll. Also on the left hand side to see the battle level. That's important because when you're trying to find zones you can grind or level up in, you want that level to be lower than yours usually. Unless you have something that's really high level in your party, which may or may not happen. And the elements, which, all of these creatures should be aligned with the wind element. Later on, that'll matter. At this point, it really doesn't.
Oh, one more thing. You see the symbol on the left next to the keyword?
That's a server.
That's the server symbol. It indicates which server you are currently logged on to. This symbol is Delta, so we're logged on to the Delta server. The list on the bottom right is the area status list. See the jewel? That indicates how the selected keyword affects the status. For example, check the field type. See the jewel on the right? This means that the field type is being determined by Aquafield, the keyword in C. We don't know what kind of field the current keyword will create until we get there. But once we learn the effect of that keyword, we can combine it with other keywords effectively. For more details, check out the board on your own time. All right, let's get going to the Delta, bursting past... Select... Before we get going, let me explain to you about the camera control. During the game, enemies will attack from all directions. The idea is to adjust your view quickly to see your enemy and grasp the situation. I'll explain more. Basically, if you don't use the camera right, you'll be... First,
So in this case, he's just going to force us to
push either
learn
the
how to
L1
use all the
button or the
controls.
R1 button to move the
I just
camera.
have to wait for it to clear out.
Good. You can zoom the camera in or out by using the right analog stick.
So just have to wait for him to clear.
Yeah.
Set that.
Finally, you reset the camera. There.
This is getting past all this stuff.
Okay. And this is the field.
Yeah, I'm just going to skip through all this.
The
This is just the intro stuff. And doesn't really have any...
Now, let's get
effect
going
on
on
the
our
game.
quest. First, check the... You see... In...
Yeah, I know. There we go. Just have to wait for this all to clear. And it's going to go over how to fight. Just tap the X button. Whack it a few times. And it does. There we go. And now he's going to talk about healing.
Press the triangle button to open the menu. Okay, then. When...
And he's telling me that I can use party members to do the same effect.
Okay. Now,
That's really useful, depending on the parties you have.
when...
Now, there is another feature here. That's this one. By using the select button, we can zoom out a little bit. That is useful. But since Orca is this powerhouse, this particular section with him in the party, you can just let him take all the attacks. And it doesn't matter. I believe there's only these 4. Is that it? Download off. So he wants us to go into the dungeon right here. We don't want to quite yet. Because I want to see if there's any more. Oh. He's a grunty food. Pick up when you find him. Exploring the world zone is normally a good idea. I'm just gonna kind of browse through this real quick. See if there's anything interesting out here. I doubt it. Aside from some Mandraga, there shouldn't be anything out here.
Whenever you want...
Pick up the Draga. And I'm just gonna head back to the dungeon. I don't think there's anything else here. Other than that blue thing. That's the spring that they were talking about. That you can throw items into and it'll give you another item. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But if you throw in a silver or golden axe, it's always something interesting. Usually significantly better than what you have. So this is our dungeon entry point. And the overall, we can go back to town. Inside the caves, we can't.
Now we can start exploring the dungeon. One thing you need to remember is that you can't gate out when you're in a dungeon. To gate out and return to the town, you have to go back to the field. The sprite...
And just tells you how to go back to town. This is just a tutorial on how to open boxes. This is a booby trapped box. We're gonna break it, and then we can open it. And now we can go into the dungeon. The story is fixed. The dungeon size is fixed in this case. But the drops from the chests and from the monsters are just not. So every time you play this game, every time you play this opening, you'll get different items. Not that it really matters.
What the? Did you just see that?
Yeah. Was that thing chasing her?
Yeah, but... something like that on this level?
And there is no sprint, unfortunately. Now, what they don't tell you is that the right stick not only decides to zoom in and zoom out, but it also allows you to rotate the camera. Yep, we know the girl's not here. Speed charm. It's a spell. The inventory. So I have Saber Dance, Buck Cruise, which is a fire attack, Wrath, which is a healing spell, and nothing else there. I got some healing potions. Here's that speed charm. It's good for movement speed upgrades. It's good when you want to race through a dungeon. Status, character stream. Here's our armor, weapons. And here's each party member. So you can see he's level 50. And we're level 1. One thing that I miss about this game versus a lot of other games.
Better watch out.
That's the trap room.
The only way to get out of a trap like...
But the fact that a lot of games, you don't get any experience if you're over-leveled. But in this case, if you notice, he got 1 experience and I got 60. As you level up, you get less experience. Not a big deal, that's pretty common. But you always get at least 1 experience point. Some games, like Final Fantasy 14, for instance, no matter what you do, you will always get the same amount of experience. When you kill a monster. So you always get the same amount of experience. So if you get 25 experience at level 1, you'll always get 25 experience. The difference is when you get to level, say, 50, you need 1,000,000 experience points. That's not the case in this game. If you notice, he needs 1,000 experience points to level right there at this level. I also need 1,000 experience points to level. That's a staple in this game, is that No matter what level it is, you always need 1,000 experience points. The difference is, they just level how much you get based on whatever mobs you're facing. So we use a fortune letter and open this risky chest and grab the leather coat. And then we're going to go to this room, which is the last room.
There's only. If we.
This is the Zalt statue. And this always has something good in it, based on the level of the dungeon. So the Grunty doll and the rainbow card, you can these are for trading. Trade that to other players for equipment, or sell them to shops for cash. I've got some steel blades and light armor. I go to equipment, I can upgrade the skill blades. And what you notice is that I'll lose Saber Dance as an orc because I'm losing it, but I gain Tire Claw. So your spells come from your equipment, which is kind of an unusual feature. And like here, we will lose physical defense and gain magical defense, and we lose our fire attack and we gain an earth attack. I'm gonna leave my character balanced for the moment. I'll find better armor later. Now what the heck's going on? I forgot about this. Oh, that's right. I remember this part of the story. It's been ages.
Or was the rumor true?
Take this.
Huh?
Please take this. There's no time. Please.
What's this?
A great force. The power it holds can bring forth either salvation or destruction at the whim of the user.
You're...
It's coming.
I have a long story to block, so I'm gonna be real quick.
Run! It'll kill you! What the hell? What is this? There's something wrong. Nothing works! It wasn't supposed to be this way. I'm sorry. Get out of here!
And we have no clue what just happened. We just got kicked out. It's a good thing, because otherwise we might have had the same thing happen to us. And we gained the book. I don't know what the book is or does, but We have it now.
What was wrong with Yasuhiko? Why was he upset? I wanted to ask him, but he wouldn't even pick up the phone. And then, the next day, I found out that Yasuhiko had been hospitalized. I rushed to the hospital, but they wouldn't even let me see him. But I guess it's better this way. I didn't want to see him all week, and he wouldn't want that either. But what the hell happened to him? I have a feeling that the key to it is somewhere in the world.
And now we'll come back to the main screen. So that's the intro story. I will go through the mail. Server problems. We're down to just Delta and Theta servers. That's fine. That's how they justify not having all of the zones available in this game.
I should post on the board about Yasuhiko. Maybe someone will respond.
As you play through the other games, more servers will come online. Because you need to get higher level. So here's our story that we're putting up. Oh, there it is. Post. About the coma. And nothing else here. I think that's it. We have mail. We have no clue. If you actually look at this, you can kind of read it. To the I guess person maybe that has book who holds the book. Is something is logged in for something. Yes, there is no time. Please help me. It's all the story, so you really can't read the message. Just kind of get the gist of what it is. And like I said, this is the first part of .hack infection. It's the first of 4. The gameplay is about 20 hours long, so this is the first part of it, and I hope to see you in the next sections.